What's happening, guys? So today I am currently stuck in a very glamorous Sainsbury's car park waiting for the rain to die down before I make a run for it. And I thought I'd came up with the idea that I should really explain what I'm trying to achieve with this channel. The reason I started it, I think I've now broken it down to three reasons I wanted to start the channel. The first one, the primary one, was that a couple of months ago I very quickly realised that for my age I am not where I thought I'd be in life. The reason for this is I am originally from Scotland, but I am now so far down in England that it takes me forever to travel home. Now, don't get me wrong, England is very nice, it's very nice down here, but all my friends and family are back home, so it means anytime I want to take a trip back home, whether it's for nights out with friends, to see family, see my grandparents who are obviously aging like grandparents do, it costs me at least 100 to 150 quid just to travel home, unless I want to spend 10 to 12 hours driving by car. Now, for those of you not from the UK, you might think, oh, the UK is really small, what are you complaining about if you live at one end, but you're from the other end, however way it goes. So Dundee, Tunbridge Wells, Dundee is quite far. It might look quite small on a map, but the issue is you have London, Birmingham, then when you get up, you've either got Glasgow or Edinburgh. So you've got all these pinch points where there's just tons and tons of queues. And after a while, I think I've been down here about 2 years now, and I'm not quite in the career I want to be in, and I'm not where I want to be that I feel comfortable. So over the last 2 years, which has roughly been the time I've left university, I've been moving further and further away from home just for work, really. And I realized a couple of months ago that I'm now done with living so far away. I want to move back home. I want to live somewhere in Scotland where it just makes, for me personally, life a lot easier and simpler. So in order to do that, I had to change what I've been doing. The last 2 years, I've just not been completely successful in applying for jobs back home. So I thought this year I would try and change my approach. Now, to begin with this, my main topic is the interview period. So me speaking confidently to other people is not something I'm very good at. Oh, there's people over there. I'm not the most confident person in the world. I'm not good at highlighting my positives, really. That's how I would describe it. Not really self-assured when speaking. So in order to do this, my first reason for opening this channel was to try and improve my speaking, how I approach other people, how I speak, and more or less to listen back to see how I can improve, what's wrong with the way I'm speaking, and generally try and get more and more practice. Now with this, that's a handful of skills, and the reason with this channel is it allows me to more or less scratch my own itch, as it's called. So that more or less describes my first reason for starting this channel, is that I want to be able to just improve on my skills, skills that are very difficult to try and improve otherwise if you're not in a career that directly uses them. Or in my case, at the moment I'm doing project management, which requires a lot of self-assured, confident speaking to very highly technical professionals and clients, which I am personally not very good at, therefore need the external practice, and this was a perfect outlet to do that with. That's why I do things like books that I've read, 20-hour lessons, just anything really that I can just speak about and get onto camera and get out there online. The other reason is with YouTube is it's perfect because it gives me a deadline, it gives me something to aim for. So every week, although it doesn't happen all the time, I try to aim for at least one video a week. That gives me consistent, regular practice at experimenting with this, really. So I can just chat away, talk along, and then at the moment I'm just using my rubbishy Samsung phone and a stupid speaker thing, microphone to record this. It's nothing glamorous, and the reason for that is I want to go see exactly where I start from, which is very jerky and rough, and eventually over the months and years see how I improve and get better and mature at it, so you can actually see a timeline of how I'm improving. So it's very kind of meta within the videos themselves. The other reason that I do it for is it allows me to explain what and summarize what I'm trying to achieve. So each thing. So the reason why I'm reading each book that I'm reading, the reason why I'm doing a 20-hour learning scheme, what I'm trying to practice, where I'm trying to take myself forward, what skills I'm trying to improve. And with that, I can see myself, whether I'm falling behind track, what I'm missing out on, what I'm focusing too much on and not enough on. And it allows me to gauge where I want to be really and how I want to move forward. So that leads me on to my second point. The second reason I'm doing this is because you see a lot of these vloggers or self-made, what are they called, like business entrepreneurs, and you never actually know quite how they made it. They all speak about how stupid things. They now own like multi-million-pound businesses, but they started off so poor, they had to eat something ridiculous, like they had to eat bark as a child because their family couldn't afford actual food or dumb stuff like that. And they tell you they had a hard time, but there's no proof of it. They just somehow came onto the air, had a good bit of money behind them, multi-million-dollar pound businesses, and just claim that they made it from living in a caravan for the first 20, 30 years of their life, and then all of a sudden they hit it big. Now, it's true, maybe it is true, maybe it's not. There's just no proof of it. But I thought, if in the future I ever become successful enough that people want to know how I got there, I don't know, it might be a bit obnoxious of me. Still got a long way to go for that. But if I ever do, then at least there'll be a video trail showing my path on the way there, how I got there. And maybe someone else is in my position in years to come, or who's just the step before where I currently am, might want to be looking for the next place to go, could have a look at some of these videos, and it might help them along. Because at the end of the day, nobody is ever truly self-made. At some point you need help from someone, and that's just the way it is, whether it's a client purchasing your first ever sale, or a mentor helping you get onto the business ladder or the property ladder, whatever it is you want to do. There's always someone there helping you out. So hopefully in years to come, I don't know, could maybe be a director of something, or even just like a senior engineer at whatever topic I go into. And there could be someone who maybe in just one of these videos, just an off chance, has nothing to do, picks it up and decides this is where I want to move forward, this is the next step I want to take. So the third and final reason for me personally is it keeps a diary and a log of what I've been doing and what I've been working on and how I'm progressing. So in a year or two's time, I can go back and see this right back when it was raw and not very well done. My speech isn't very good. The books I'm reading are very basic. And then as I've built up from there, how I've improved, I can actually physically see the progress and the successful milestones that I've completed as time goes on. This is a great way to keep motivation going, boost productivity, and let's face it, if you're your working life is about 40 to 60 years, your lifetime as a whole is about 80 to 90 years roughly. So it's a long time to keep persisting on your goals. It's a long time your success isn't linear, it's not steady amounts. Sometimes you go one step back to go 2 steps forward. Sometimes it's 2 steps back to only go 1 step forward. Sometimes you'll plateau for ages, and all of a sudden, boom, you'll be 3 paces up and you won't know what to do with yourself. So it's like when you're in the gym. Eventually, when you're lifting weights, you hit a plateau. And in order to break through that plateau, you might have to be working at the same weight day in, day out, and then all of a sudden, boom, your body's recovered, and all of a sudden you've reached the next target. You've surpassed your goal and you're on to the next one. But the only way to succeed through that is to keep going, or trying a different technique, or trying something new in order to help you get above that plateau. The only way you get stuck at that plateau forever is by just giving up, or just kind of doing what you're already doing without any thought on how to improve at it. So the only way to improve is to look back, focus on what you have done wrong, what you've done right, try to tweak here and there so the next time you do it, it gets better, because that's how we do it in life. That's how kids learn to walk and then run, is when they keep falling over, they'll analyze what the adults are doing. They're very observative, is that the word? Yeah, let's go with observative, to older folks, and they'll try and mimic everything they're doing. Even when you're performing or doing math at school, you're constantly writing out sums, you review whether they're right or wrong, you see why they're wrong, and then for the next time you keep that in mind. And it's the same with anything else in the career, really. You've got first walk, review, run, review, and then progress from there. So this is my way of keeping almost like a personal diary of where I am, what I've been working towards, and what milestones I've hit. I thoroughly recommend you do this yourself. Even if you don't like speaking to the camera, maybe it's keeping a diary or a journal of what you've been doing, what your goals are and how you're trying to achieve them, where your progress in your journey is. Or it can even be something that's just taking snapshots or writing down when you're at work everything you've completed throughout the day, so it doesn't feel like you're just slogging it out for 8 hours and getting unmotivated because you feel like you haven't done anything. You can actually physically see, even if it's just counting out the amount of check boxes ticked off, how much you've done in that day. So that's the summary of the 3 things, or the 3 main reasons why I started up this channel. Is one, mainly to improve my public speaking, my vocality and effective communication. It's a review of how I progress, see how far I get, and more or less a timeline of myself improving, and then also experimenting with all these people who are already millionaires, like, do this, get rich scheme, this, that, and other. I might experiment with doing 1 or 2 of those things, and you'll actually see what the actual result is, rather than some millionaire saying you have to do this to get rich because that's how I did it. I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure on that, but again, it's something to experiment with, because if they are all millionaires, there must be something in it, really. There must be money coming in order to earn that amount. And then lastly, it's to keep a personal diary of what I've been doing, so over the years I can look back and actually see how far I've come, and hopefully that will help me to continue to be productive and keep working hard and keep grinding towards that next goal when it really feels like nothing is coming together. Because at the end of the day, if you work hard and long enough, it will. It's just how hard you want to work and how long you want to work. They're almost on a parallel. So as Elon Musk says, if you work 100 hours a week and all your peers are working 40 hours a week, even if you work at the same pace they're working at, you'll achieve the same amount in 4 months that they'll achieve in a whole year. So it's all about trying to keep that motivation going and remembering things like that when times do get tough. And as likes of myself at the start of my career, trying to move forward and trying to get to the next level, this is always a very nice reminder of where I was before and where I'm trying to move myself to. So I thoroughly recommend you give it a go, but that's my rant over. That's why the channel started, and I guess I'll see you next time. Oh, and one last thing before I forget. Because this channel is growing and developing, and I'm just trying out different things to try and improve at it. If you notice anything that you might want me to improve at, maybe there's something I'm doing wrong, maybe there's something I could be doing better, something I'm not doing at all that I should be doing, or something that I am doing that I shouldn't be doing, just pop it down in the comments. As much interaction as possible would be much appreciated, and hopefully I can get this channel up to a respectable way of doing things. So any feedback at all, just leave it down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.